Hello, guys. Welcome to Talk It Out, and we are your hosts, Leslie. And
Ella.
I'm really excited. We are finally getting to do this, like our first ever episode. How do you feel about
I
this?
feel amazing, guys. We're finally here. You guys have no idea the prayers and effort we put into this
Oh
thing.
my days, like.
You guys have no idea how long.
And I actually can't wait to share this with all of you. So this episode is literally going to be like our friendship journey, our life in the UK, and what this podcast is going to be about.
Yeah.
Like literally,
basically just like a little chit chat.
yeah,
But a more deeper conversation than the Q&A.
Yeah, the Q&A. You guys should pardon us for that one because it was
everything was
yeah.
different. And we were nervous. I was nervous. I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. That was like my first time ever on proper like cameras
and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ella, how did we become friends? Like, would you mind sharing this story with them?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like with our circle, like those in senior high, they would be surprised because back in school we weren't really like friends.
Yeah.
We were classmates, but we weren't like we had a vibe, but it wasn't like we were friends, just having that kind of vibe.
So we went to the same senior high school, just to clarify that, and we were in the same class. Ella was at the back bencher, and I was seated in the middle. With Jessica, and then you was at the back. So we were more or less like classmates, but not acquaintances and everything. Because mind you, we used to share the same dining. When we go for dining, like it was the same dining table. And then Ella would be like, "Oh, today I don't feel like eating," and me, I'll be like, "Hello guys, Ella said she's not coming for her lunch or whatever. So can I have her?" So they'll add Ella's one and then my own, and then So we weren't like that close, but we weren't also like, that apart. That kind of vibe. And then what else?
We went to uni.
Yeah. And even with uni, first year, like we were more or less like classmates because
I got the same program.
And I didn't know. I kept on asking everyone, "Oh, who is reading economics? Who is reading economics?" And then all that. That's how I got to know it was you, baby, Tay, Susie. Yeah, it was only the four of us, right? From Louis, Nancy.
First year.
Oh yeah, Nancy did economics, but it wasn't her major. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So even uni first year, we weren't that. We were close. Yeah.
It wasn't like we were like classmates. Like we would go to class together, sit together, but it wasn't like until second year that we started like studying together.
Yeah, and when you moved to Brunei, like Ella's house was like more or less like opposite mine because I was at Tech Credit. So I used to go to her place sometimes like for assignments. Ella is Brilla. Ella is the shark. So me, I'll just go to Ella's dorm and then be like, "Oh Ella, have you done this?" And funny thing is, I'll be like, "Ella, we have econometrics today. Let's go to class." Ella will be like, "I'm tired. I don't feel like going. The exams will come. Ella will pass." You see, these naturally born Brilla people. So and then I think uni wasn't bad, and then
second year, third year, I think, that was when
even final year we were really, really close.
Yeah, my final year, everyone knew like we would always go to class together. You find us together
everywhere together. And then fast forward, Ella went to UK. She didn't even tell me she was going to the UK. I did my service study. I think out of like Susie and then baby Tessie, was Susie that went first.
Yeah. Susie came first.
Funny thing is, like, guys, I used to do my service at the airport, Kumasi Airport. And then I saw Susanna, and I didn't even know Susie was going to the UK. That was how I asked Susie, "Oh, Susie, like, how you doing? Like, plans, this. Susie said, "Oh, I'm going to Accra." But she didn't lie though. She actually went to Accra. But like I didn't know she was going to the United Kingdom.
Already preparing to leave.
Like but obviously.
It's typical like Ghanaian, like when you're traveling you
don't really tell anyone. Me when I was going.
Me, I didn't even tell her.
You didn't tell me, yeah.
All she saw was Ella is in the UK. That was
I just saw a
she didn't tell me. Even though I was here, she didn't tell me.
No, but why should I tell you? You didn't tell me where you were going.
I felt like you would excited.
When I was going to the UK, it was only like 3 people that knew. It was Jessica, Nancy, and Kweku.
Jessica, Nancy, but not me.
No, because you didn't tell me. But
ouch,
guys. Okay. Guys, so life in the UK. Before I was coming, people were like, "Oh, the UK this, let's leave the UK." But me, I was just coming for greener pastures because if you're in Ghana and you don't know anyone, if you don't have like these lanes, if you're not connected to the right people, it's actually kind of difficult to get a job. At least from my perspective. I don't know about others,
it's true.
but it's a bit like difficult. True. So when I was coming to the UK, although I had high hopes and everything, my mom made sure it got to my skull that Leslie, it's not easy. Ella used to call me all the time that Leslie, it's not easy.
But even then, when I used to tell her, she wouldn't believe me. Like, she feels like, oh, you're here, your mom is
See,
here.
my fellow people in Ghana, if I tell you this right now, would you, like, let's say you want to come, because it's not everyone that wants to travel in the first place. Like, if you want to come to the UK and I tell you that, see, don't come, it's so hard here.
You wouldn't believe it until,
until you're here.
You're experiencing the whole thing. But guys, trust me, it's not easy.
But it gets better.
That's the thing. I think
it gets better.
That's the argument they would make, that Ghana, you can suffer and die. But here, there is a chance that at least, life.
If you're hardworking, like there's no way you would.
You struggle though.
You
really cry.
Just imagine the number of times we had those bathroom breaks and they just cried our eyes out. Like it's just not easy. Yeah. So what was I even saying?
Yeah, so it does get better. Just put in the work and everything. And how has it been so far? Like, so far, what's the hardest thing like about being here?
I think the hardest thing for me, I can't say me being lonely because obviously my whole family, everyone is here. So the hardest thing for me was when I got here initially and then I started working. I wasn't used to like those long hours. Like I used to wake up early sometimes, but like I just wasn't used to doing night shifts. Yeah. Because if you know me, you would know that I always sleep early. Like when I was back home in Ghana, like 8 to 9, I will be asleep. So over here, I think starting with night shifts didn't even help me one bit. Like staying up all night and you can't even sleep, nothing. Like it was really hard for me. And yeah, I think that would be and then just getting used to their system and then everything. But I don't know. I've not really had a very people will be like, when I got here, I had no one. I had to sleep outside for this. I had, by God's grace.
Yeah, to have our parents here. But it doesn't mean that.
It doesn't mean it was easy because
I told you some of the things. But it does make life better because some of the stories that we hear out there, it's not really pleasant.
Yeah, what about you? What would you say your...
Me is waking up and going to work. I still struggle with that. Like even now. I would like. I still struggle with that. Just imagine
you being so blessed that someone asked you that. So what was your hardest struggle? And then you told them that waking up and then getting... Bro.
No. It might sound shallow, but it's not. Guys... if not, you're not in my shoes, so you won't. But I feel like those here would understand when I say that. That's the hardest thing,
especially during winter.
Waking up 5-ish, catching the train or bus. Yeah. If you miss one bus in winter,
you're doomed.
So yeah.
I think so far life in the UK. Guys, let me tell you one funny story that happened. So one morning I just closed from a night shift, Ella, and then my mom told me that, Leslie, you see this bus stop, any bus that comes, like
take it.
Take it, and then you would just it would just get you at that stop, and then so let's say just take any bus that comes to stop A and then you get down at stop D and then that would be it. So me, like already I'm just tired from a night shift. I'm feeling sleepy. I'm getting used to the system and then everything. And I just went to stop A and then I just took any bus that was coming. That was how I was going. I was like, this doesn't look familiar.
When you're going and you hear the
stops, the name of the stops. Yeah, like
you're already lost.
You know that you are doomed.
That doesn't sound familiar.
That was how I just said, maybe like obviously I was in the wrong bus. Yeah. So I just got down at the next stop. Ella, that was the worst mistake I ever made. Apparently, there are those areas that the bus will come like every 45 minutes and then 1 hour. And then if my people here too, you would know that, let's say, how do I even put it? if you get down at stop C and then you want to go back to stop A, you would have to go look for another stop, like cross the road or something to find the bus going to that. So before I was even able to maneuver my way to find out, I had to cross the road, go to the other stop, and then go back. That 45 minutes was up, and then that bus had already. So and it started raining. You know this country and rain. I think that was when I was like, nah, I'm done.
You, I think you probably cried.
I cried. I called my mom, and then I tried picking an Uber. They were like, whatever, because there are some areas too that like the Uber doesn't work or it's extremely slow, or you get it and then they'll be canceling, and that was what happened to me. I think that's like the funniest thing that has ever happened to me when I got to the UK.
Mine would probably be like, guys, you see this phone here? It's been snatched 3 times. And
believe it or not,
how I still have it, honestly, it's by grace. I always say that because first one was at the train station. I got off the train. I was looking for the next bus, checking bus time. Then 2 guys on a motorbike. They took it. Luckily, it fell.
And when you might think this is not even true, because you'd be like, why are they even snatching phones here? Because back home it was normal. It was normal snatching phones. And then, okay, continue. Let me just let you continue. That's the first time.
It fell. And then I went back and I took because where I was and then my house, that was like an hour. And you know how this country is?
Yeah.
My phone literally has everything.
All
I
the cards.
use cards.
Yeah.
Everything is on my phone. So I didn't know how I was going to get home. Second one was at dawn. I was on my way to the gym.
Yeah.
Same thing. Snatched. Phone fell. The guy kept looking back at me. I felt like, lucky for me, if not the bus stop, there were people there. I'm sure he would have come back to maybe do something to me. And you tell people and they're like, why are they snatching phones?
Ella, I don't even know how like you're still coping, because I remember one time, like my Ghana people, Ayediase. Oh my God. I was traumatized. Like working at the airport, I used to wake up. So maybe that's the reason why I don't have like problem with waking up early, because back home I'm used to waking up early. So we used to start work at 5:30, and then that was how I just heard the woman screaming, "Hey!" Like, I'm just saying it in English because obviously they were like, "Hey, somebody help me. They're snatching my phone." And then the thieves were like, "Who should help you? Lie on the floor." And then I'm pretty sure like they had, and it wasn't just knife, guys. Do you know what a machete is? They roll. I'm not even capping. Those that ride like the motorbikes, they have this cloth with machete, and then that's how when they are coming, they'll just roll it. And guys, I'm not even being dramatic. And then the machete will fall down, and then we could hear like the sound of like knives, like that clash. I don't know whatever that sound is. And then the woman was screaming, shouting, and then immediately the thieves left. That was when everyone started coming out. Like, bro, this woman was shouting. No one came to help her. It was after they left and they were like, "Oh, sorry, this." And since then, like, only God knows, it was either Uber today because like to work. Oh yeah, because I was at the airport that time. And since then, like, it was just... So I used to be scared of, like, anyone who rides motorbikes or anything. Now, so when I even got here, that was when it reduced a little. But you saying your story that...
Motorbike and a bicycle. That electric bike.
Nah, that's so...
And it's common in London. Like, if you live in London, you know what I'm saying. It's very common. Like,
you guys should come to the West Midlands now. Come. It's safer. It's safer over there. So yeah, I think so. How would you say the UK is treating you? Early on, we were talking about how like it gets better. Obviously, it's not where we started that we are all here, but I think it gets better.
It does get better. It does get extremely better. We are still not where we want to be. I mean,
you guys should wait for us.
The dreams that I have sometimes
wait for us.
They scare me, but yeah. By God's grace, small, right in there.
Yeah. So let's tell them how this podcast even came about. I'll let my prophetess proceed. Ella, let's go.
Okay, so I think it all began with this again, the whole UK life, how life has been in the UK, how God has come through. I always say God because, I mean, if our friends are watching this and you knew me back then, when I say God, it might sound a bit some way to some
Hey, how were you back then?
No.
Me, I don't know a girl, or I didn't know
but I
you
feel
that
like
well.
some people will be like, hey, Ella. Like, Ella. Yeah, I know.
What do you mean by yeah, Ella?
They would. You know me.
Yeah, I know you.
Would, yeah. So it all started with the whole coming to the UK life and everything. And it just, for me, it felt like every time I would imagine myself talking about what God has done, like the miracles and everything. It was initially, what I didn't tell Leslie was this podcast is not supposed to be the two of us. It's supposed to be just you.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah. Because I would see me talking about my story on her platform. I am not a social media person. Like, you wouldn't see me on camera. I'm that. Leslie was sort of like on social media.
Because I had a YouTube channel back
Leslie
then and everything.
Being on social media. No. So I was like, oh. But that's what I would see. Like, every time I would talk about, oh, God has done this. Like, God has really... And one random morning, I was on my way to work, and I think she still has that audio.
I think
that was
so.
Like 2 years ago.
We would have played it, but like 2 years is just far back.
2 years ago, and we talk a lot, so it was probably like And I just it just came to mind. I felt like, why am I always having this sort of like every time I feel like I want to talk about God, I see myself talking on Leslie's platform. Let me just ask her. So I was like, Les, have you ever thought of starting a podcast? And then she said, oh yeah, you know how like Leslie.
Because let me also chip in here, because like when I was coming to this country, one thing that I had in mind was like to go back to making YouTube videos, to go back to being active on social media, TikTok, Instagram, like all of those stuff. So I was also thinking, or should I also go into like podcasts? And my brothers had already also suggested it.
Yeah.
Ben and Phil, they were like, oh, Leslie, like, have you ever thought of like podcasts, this, that? So when Enchiwa came to me saying that, Leslie, I think like maybe you should get you should get. I was like, girl, you know I've been thinking about it too, like
and that was like 2 years ago, guys. It was just word by mouth, I guess. Like
we didn't even take it. We didn't take it so serious.
And months came this year. Wait, this year, right?
Yeah, this year.
It was this year that like I really don't know how this happened, honestly, but I feel like.
We brought it up again.
Yeah, it came up.
It came up again in a random conversation again.
And then we had left it again. But I think, was it after Hallelujah Challenge or something? It was after one of...
I joined Hallelujah Challenge a lot.
And then, truth is, that day, the conversation you brought wasn't even about the podcast.
It wasn't even about...
It was about that keychain thing. If you remember.
Yeah, Instagram. I used to make keychains too. So I was telling Ella because... I don't know if you know me, I've been this crafty, like I like, and then I want like to get like a side business or something. So I'm one person that is always trying new things, be it like photography. I went into photography recently. I was like, should I start doing my phone cases? Should I go back to making my keychains, my key holders? So we were just talking about like other things that could bring like income, and then because it's not always that we talk about men or whatever, like how to elevate ourselves, like what we can do So we were talking about
the keychain thing, and then I don't know, it just occurred to me, like it just came into mind. I was like, Les, when are you starting the podcast? And then she said, I think you said, I don't want to do it alone, right?
Yeah, I said I don't want to do it alone.
And then I was like, oh, I'm there. Do you know when I said I'm there? Later I was like,
what have I done?
Bro, because like, what have I done? What have I gotten myself into? But when I told her, what she said that really motivated me was, she was like, I had literally prayed about this yesterday.
Yeah, because I think it was the last day of Hallelujah Challenge. And then we were like to pray and then do all of those things. And then I said, you know what, dear God, like I need a sign.
Yeah.
If anything, just give me a sign, like how we could go about with this podcast, how we could do this. And that was what came in mind after. So when Ella also told me that, Leslie, I think we should actually do this, I was like, girl, you know, I prayed about it last night. And then
I was like, wow, that's really a sign. Like,
oh, let's tell them the second sign. Tell them.
Okay, so fast forward, we had that conversation. We didn't even sort of start planning.
No, actually, we got serious.
Yeah,
we got a little bit serious after that. Yeah.
But we didn't like put stuff in place that day.
Not that day. It was like a gradual process.
Yeah. and then we met again. Like, if you know us, we always meeting. Like every now and then.
We
Like
could meet on a very random day, Monday.
Monday, like
Yeah.
Tuesday. We always meeting. Like just and then we met. The weird part about that one was that day was like a hangout because Leslie was going back.
Yeah, I was going back and
home.
then we also said we would plan like how this whole podcast thing is going to be about, because each time we talk on phone, like we kind of drift away some way somehow. So I was like, okay, so I think you were going to Sephora to get like your makeup stuff and then all of that. So I told Ella that okay, then when we meet we can actually, because I brought my laptop along, so we can actually plan. So that was how we were planning. And then William called me, guys. William never calls me. William called me saying, I saw your streak.
Yeah.
So where are you at? Yeah.
And it was so surprising because randomly, like,
because we were actually thinking of speaking with William to talk about like the podcast and the like studios and everything. So when he called, I was like, God, this is a sign, because William will never call me.
Yeah.
And then he said, oh, I just saw your streak. Where are you guys at? And then we were at Stratford. Yeah. So William met us, and then I think that was when things actually.
Yeah. And then the funny thing is, when he came, initially it was like he had to go because he had literally like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he checked this phone and he's like, oh, my shoot has been moved.
So like that gave us that extra time.
Like literally, we sat there, we ate, we talked. And even the studio, like we didn't even know how we were going to get like a studio. And because even though we were planning, we had no like idea.
Yeah, that was why I was like, we actually thought of talking to William, because we're like, okay, William takes like most pictures and then everything, so he would know where and like which place we should go to and then all of that. So when William called, I think when William came there, we told him that, William, we were literally talking about you like literally. And then so I think this whole journey, like God has actually like ordained us to do this podcast and then everything, because everything started aligning. Everything started falling in place. We actually decided to take it serious.
So now to
what should people expect?
Guys, expect everything. But let me talk about the vision first.
Okay.
So we sort of like created this space to. It's for everyone, even though it's going to be faith-based, God, because it was God that placed it on our hearts.
Yeah.
But we're also going to talk about everything. We want it to be like a friend,
like a safe space, like
talk about life, relationships, everything. Expect everything. But at the end of the day, whatever that we say here, we hope that it aligns with God, because like I said, it was God that placed this.
Yeah.
So guys, expect everything. Expect everything in between.
Because I feel we've been always talking about loads of things, and sometimes I think it would be okay if we get to share it with other people. And so that's what this podcast is going to be about. Just two friends chit-chatting, talking about everything good, the bad,
the lows,
everything. So I'm really excited for this. We don't want our first episode to be that long, because we just wanted you guys to get to know us more and how we met and what this podcast is going to be about. So
So on our next episode or subsequent episodes, we've got more planned for you guys. There's more to come, and I pray and I hope that you guys enjoy it. We want people to come here and feel like, oh, these girls are so unique. Like, this is a place where I feel like I belong.
Yeah.
Not just, we're not going to be preachy.
And we don't judge anyone. So.
Yes. We're not going to be preachy. We want it to be fun and entertaining, but at the same time, educative. Like, So
it's like a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I think this should bring us to the end of our first ever episode. We've actually done this a lot. We're so nervous. So we're shooting this one.
My first time on camera. We'll go back to the Q&A, guys.
The Q&A. Oh my days. That one was just... So we cannot wait to see you guys in the next episode. I hope you all have a lovely week. Wait, how many times would we be releasing? Like, is it going to be 2 weeks or a week?
It's going to be every 2
weeks. Okay.
Yeah, every 2 weeks. We haven't still decided on the day yet. We're still, but yeah.
Okay. So, see you guys. Thank you for listening to our first episode. See you guys next time. Bye. And don't forget to follow our socials. Bye.
Why are you guys